Seen him on Black Panther. You've seen him in Get Out, which is the first place I saw him with that the teacup, and he's sitting in the chair falling, and I was like rooting for him. And the end is very good if you didn't see it. But he's in a new movie that is probably one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Oh,
It
thank
is
you.
that dope. Let me welcome to the show. He's the star of Queen and Slim, Mr. Daniel Kaluuya,
Yes.
like the drink. Do you
Yeah.
drink that?
I've drunk it before
Uh-huh.
because a lot of teachers kept on saying they kept on pronouncing Kahlua, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand why they did that, and then I started drinking. And I was like, oh, they
Kaluuya,
were alcoholics.
Kaluuya
Yeah, yeah,
with cream.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
call that a white Russian, I think,
yeah.
but we can
I
call
know.
it a black African with
Yeah,
cream in it.
that's what it is,
Mind your
man.
business.
Come on, sweet.
All right. They're billing this movie as the Bonnie and Clyde, but that Bonnie and Clyde were outlaws and criminals and thugs and thieves and white. This is a story of two people. It's a love story. Doesn't start out as a love story. She starts out as annoying as F, and it's a date that went a totally different direction than what I expected. I found myself going, I didn't see that coming. Tell me how you got into this movie. Who I know it's a Lena Waithe production.
Yeah.
She wrote, directed it, and
No, she wrote and produced it, and Melina Matsoukas directed it, who
okay.
did Formation video, Beyonce's Formation
Oh
video,
my God.
and she directed Insecure.
Okay,
Yeah.
the filmography or the filming of it is just beautiful. I'm making up words.
Direct.
So don't
No,
look at me
no.
like I'm crazy.
Filmography. No, I'm trying to
Okay.
understand you. That's not
Just
looking
that's
at you
all right.
crazy. I'm trying to
That's-
understand. That's me on my understanding.
I see what you're
I
saying.
understand your perspective. Yeah, I mean, come on, look at her smiling. Come on.
Huh? What happened? I didn't come in smiling.
Huh?
I didn't come in smiling.
Nah,
I
just
thought
then you was coming like you was
I was
coming a
com-
bit aggy. I was like, yeah, we're
Aggie?
friends.
No, that's my norm. That's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
I'm not.
All right.
Cool.
How'd you get this movie? What and why?
Lena. I spoke to Lena at a Get Out screening years ago, and before the film came out, and I just was a fan of her work. I read the pilot of The Shire. And I thought she was an amazing writer. So I went up to her and said, yeah, I think you're amazing. And then she mentioned that, yeah, I've got this Bonnie and Clyde story. I'm like, your voice on that sounds amazing. Then we met up a few months later as friends. We just chopped it, chilled. And then like she just pitched it to me, the fuller story. And I was just like, this is amazing. Sent me the script, first draft. I was the first to read it. So I think I read it before Melina. And I just said, listen, I really want to play Slim. I know you guys have a process, but I really want to play him. And they said, I got to meet Melina and see what happens. And Melina had to and we sat down and then I jumped on board.
She was on first. Was
Who?
Melina? Was she?
Melina was
casted
working.
first?
No, Melina's the director. She wasn't.
Oh, Melina.
She was.
Okay.
She wasn't.
I'm
She
sorry.
was working at that time, so she hadn't had time to read it. So then she got back to
Okay.
read it.
Okay. It's not Bonnie and Clyde.
No, but it's not. It's actually, if you look at it narratively speaking, it's closer to Thelma and Louise. If you look at it at the narrative.
Yes.
However, people are gonna say it's Bonnie and Clyde because it's a ride or die. It's a couple that's on the road.
Right.
But what's interesting is the inciting incident in Bonnie and Clyde is them doing criminal things, as opposed in Queen and Slim is that people see black people as criminals.
Yes.
So they have to navigate that, and then it gets them in a situation, and then there's this crime thing that's projected upon their narrative because people see black people as they're the criminals, they're the perpetrators, they're the antagonizers and the aggressors.
You're not from America.
No.
Does this happen in London? Does this happen in England? What we're seeing now, which I feel like maybe we're seeing more of it because of social media and people with cameras, but there feels like a certain kind of like criminalization of black people, police brutality, police, guys on the train platform eating a sandwich, he's being harassed. People, it's like, does this happen frequently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does happen.
So this is universal.
This is it's 100% universal because it, like, you got to look at the contracts of why these things happen. They're there to, a lot of times, what I've studied is a lot of times there to empower poor white people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, like, they're there in that situation. They have to see this person's the enemy. This is the person. So all the media, all the stuff that's being fed, there needs to be someone outside of yourself is the reason why your life isn't great. So that's a universal narrative. But that speaks to the fact that, like, the European countries went across the world and did what they did, and so that the racism that is in America is rooted within Europe. Do you know what I'm saying? The actual idea The ideology is European. Do you know what I'm saying? So like, and so then you're everywhere is feeling the symptom of that idea,
root.
that spread,
Right.
which is we're gonna come to your land and exploit you, and we're gonna take what we want and control it, and you can do what you want after that, but we're gonna do what we need to do. So that's kind of that. But in terms of police brutality in England, it's stuff I've experienced, it's stuff that my friends have experienced without a shadow of a doubt, and because solely and like this point, like solely because of the color of your skin. And it's what's strange about it as a black person, you're not even allowed to say that. You're not even allowed to say that this is why it is. I had to get this whole professor to write a 70-page dossier to just say it's because you're black. Do you know what I mean? Because you're even though you feel the symptoms, you can't diagnose it.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because they illegitimize you.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you can't say
using a race card.
Because they see that your viewpoint is biased because the white viewpoint is colorless, it's neutral, it's just there. So then it can be seen with a certain objectivity. It's a mind fuck.
Tell me about Daniel Kaluuya growing up in Great Britain.
In what way?
Yeah, tell me about your first time you realized you were black, or the first time that your blackness became a thing.
Like it's interesting. First time my blackness became a thing is when I went to an all black school, and I realized I was dark skinned. And so it's interesting seeing what blackness means in different cultures. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the majority of the people that were in my school were Caribbean, being dark skinned was a bad thing. And so they had inherited, we're talking 11-year-olds, they had inherited something from their parents and people before them. And then so I was aware that my color was an issue. But growing up in Camden Town is where I come from, is very...
Is that Cockney?
Camden?
Yeah.
No, it's northwest London. Okay. But it's very punk. It's like where the Sex Pistols,
right,
gotcha. Like it's a very punk, very forward facing. And then like it's very accepting. So no one is aware of who they are. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the next door neighbor was Kosovan. Like people opposite were French. People there were like Middle Eastern, and over there we were like Jamaican. Everyone was living together and playing together. And then the older you get, the more you're aware of the color of your skin, or you're more aware of the conversations that are happening in people's homes. So it's like, and then I went to Lithuania. I was 17 for a job, and that was probably the most visceral kind of like.
What kind of job?
I did a show called Skins, and then it was shooting in Lithuania, and it was like yo, like, so it got me in a place because everywhere I went, it was like yo, like pointing, staring, laughing. Some people just hadn't seen it. Some people hadn't seen a black person, so they were like trying to shake my hand. But it's kind of like, I was there for like 10 days, 2 weeks. It was a real, as a 17-year-old, kind of like trying to get your head around, but trying to be cool about it. And all the white people around me were losing their cool. And I was like, no, like, it's cool. And then I remember the last day, I was at this posh restaurant. I just fucking lost my shit at somebody that I thought was laughing at me. Do you know what I'm saying? And then like, I just lost my shit. So it's something. And then growing older, like you feel it. You don't. It's so like every day. Like looking back, I can see the stuff racing that happened, but I didn't know it was that. Even like the kind of sets they put you in, the kind of how they teach you, or what school you're in, or X, Y, Z. There's all this stuff that has an undercurrent. But British racism is very, very low key. It's very hard to see and pinpoint.
Well, we're looking at from this vantage point, Meghan, Markle, the princess, and the hell that she's catching.
Yeah.
And she's not the blackest black person that they could have put into the royal family, and she's catching hell. And you're like, really, y'all? Yeah, really.
They're about that life. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they really are. And it's hard to understand. When it's like, I would love you to read a book called Natives by a writer called Akala, and he's from exactly the same area that I'm from, Camden, and he describes growing up black British, and his mum's Scottish, so he's half black and half Jamaican, half Scottish and half Jamaican, and like and the stories just really triggered things that I was like, yeah, that was weird as a kid. But you just have to keep it moving. It's like, it's the British thing, keep calm and carry on. You just don't, you forget about it, whatever, like, but they probably have real world impacts. And
what are your parents telling you growing up?
My mum, I just grew up, my mum I mean, English is like a third language. So I think she came over and she didn't understand English.
From
Uganda.
Yeah.
Uganda. So like she came over and she kind of, I did remember one time I asked her, Mum, has anyone called you a nigger? And then she was like, yeah. And I said, what did you do? She said, I told him, move out my way, I've got somewhere to go. Do you know what I'm saying? And I kind of always kind of held that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's that kind of, I probably have absorbed that. Because she just didn't. But obviously the culture just didn't. I'm like, okay, good
Right.
for you.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to go away. Like, she genuinely had somewhere to go. It wasn't even like a metaphor. I've got somewhere to go.
But it is a metaphor.
Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, and it is that kind of thing where she saw it when I started. She saw it when I started. When my life, and then I had instances with the police, she really understood.
So back up.
She was
over
like,
that when I had incidents with
I
police.
got police brutality. I had a situation. I sued the police back home.
You sued them.
Yeah.
What happened?
They beat me up.
For what? Why? Well, tell me what.
Because they beat me up. That I was on a bus on the way home, and they told me, yo, and they stopped the bus and they said, you get off the bus. I got off the bus. They surrounded me. And they were like, yo, we've heard that you've got a weapon and drugs. And I said, I haven't. And then they were like, we're going to have to search you. I was like, no, you don't have to, like, I don't understand. I haven't done anything. And then it was 2 of them at the time, and then 4 more came out and they just battered me. They pulled down my trousers on the street. They battered me. I was 20. They battered me.
Pulled down your pants.
Yeah, they battered me. They beat me up, put me in a cell, interrogated me. And then they asked, and that's the trick. They asked you to take a caution. You should take a caution. I said, I ain't done nothing wrong. If I took the caution, I reckon I still would be able to come to America, but going to America would have been harder.
And a caution is to plead a case.
It's basically you admitting that you was
plead guilty.
It's basically a guy admitting that you did a wrong.
Right. It's a plea deal.
Yeah.
So
it's
you get
like,
off, we won't give you time.
We let you go. This is that and the other. If you either take a caution, you go to court. I said, I go to court. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and then I had to I was still working. I was doing a short film. And then I had to go to work the next day, and then I just sat down there and I was like, no one here has to experience that. No one here has to. Why? This is like a certain rites of passage. And I've had instances with police before, but that was kind of like, it just kind of went over the edge. And it was like, the feelings of self-hate that comes.
Self-hate.
Yeah, 100%, because you blame your blackness. It is because of your blackness. But I had to really understand, I had to really meditate that it's not about my blackness, it's about how people see my blackness. So it's about them. It's not about me. Shit that happens to us ain't about us. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't have this shit. So then I kind of but then you feel the impact of that can really have, I know boys that are probably, and it's weird because you're just seeing the police as, the reason why you're in that situation, because you see the police as normal people. So if you see the police as normal people, this is just these guys are trying to beat you up. Why are you trying to beat me up? I ain't done nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? So I know friends that have got into that instance and tried to fight back. Do you know what I'm saying? And because why are you trying to beat me up?
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like
innocent.
Without the uniform, that's a weird situation.
Right. You get
your
ass whooped.
It's just a weird situation.
Right.
The person that would instigate it would be the one to blame.
Right.
And so and they're dealing with the repercussions of just going, I don't want that. No, I don't. How about I don't want that? And then so yeah, that's I forgot the original question, but in terms of my mum, after that instance, my mum really understood. And then my mum used to fear the streets and shit that would happen on the streets, because I'm from a really not too rough but kind of rough area, and shit going out, and a lot of my friends were getting stabbed when I was a teenager and stuff. So she'd fear that stuff, but then she started fearing the police. And because you just have no control. Do you know what I'm saying? You have no control. And that's similar to what happens in the film. Slim's in a situation where he has no control over the situation.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, because of how people perceive himself, he has to, there's something that's going to happen that's going to change his life. And it's a really frustrating position to be in.
Was that where, did you go back to that moment? Because your performance, and let me just tell you, you're one of the most incredible actors of this time. And, when I saw you in Get Out, I was like, okay, this guy is special, because it's a blend of humanity, humor. You're just real chill, but you bring so much emotion to every scene. And when you got pulled over in the movie, and I don't want to give away too much because I saw that coming, but I didn't see what came next.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, and you're trying to calm the situation, trying to get that man to see you as a person, and it wasn't working. And the frustration of that, moment, it was so tense. And were you pulling and drawing on what happened to you on that
It
bus?
was triggering.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not even like sticks and stones, you know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, like I got a high pain tolerance, so I can handle shit. But it's what's said in those situations. What's said. It's not even racist.
What was said?
Like, even like, I remember one time, like, the guy tied my ankles, he tied my knees, and he tied my hands. And then he said, "You want to be treated like a human being, walk." And I said, "I can't walk." He said, "You want to be treated like a human being, walk." And I kept on stumbling. One of my trousers down my ankles. And I was like, walk. It's on the street, Camden High Street. We're talking like street.
A regular street with people
like
on
people
it.
on it, yeah. Like he's demanding me to walk.
Humiliating.
So I look at the woman, I look at the woman. I go, "Can I walk?" She goes, "Nah." Then he finally relents. But we like the whole interaction is because I demanded to be treated like a human being. Do you know what I'm saying? I said that at the instance. I said, "You gotta treat me like a human being." So Slim's in the situation. Go, yo, like I want to be like, see me,
right?
See me. You're seeing this. You're seeing how you see this, but see me. So that's a real. It could put me in a place because it's not fun. It's not fun to like to. And the thing is, like, like 1-on-1, you can beat them up. But like you just like you kind of like it's bullying.
Yeah.
It's bullying and
it's cowardly.
It's state sanctioned bullying a lot of the time. So it's kind of like, and you just have to. So in that situation with Slim, it kind of really did put me in a place. And then I think there's a scene that's actually there's a take that was cut. It was like him pleading for his life, trying to say like, listen, please don't.
And even the last scene, I mean, you think about the show of force, and I'm not going to give away too much in that as well, but you're like, does it require all of that?
What do you mean?
Does it require that show of force? Clearly, you're not armed at that last moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it require that much? It's like we have to show this much force.
Yeah.
We're not going to give it away, though, because people
there's an insecurity. There's an insecurity there. That's just
what are you really afraid of? Because clearly you're not going to lose your life against these two people.
Saying? But that's what I'm trying to say. You're not seen as an individual. That's for me. It's like that's what I try to do in the films that I do is like try and promote black individuality. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like black humanity. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's the sickness. The dehumanization of us is getting it. I'm cool. Let's keep it 100. I'm cool. Like they pick me up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, look at my suit. I'm jiggy.
Yes.
So it's like,
so
it's that thing where like, what this sickness that's in society really impacts someone that's working at Walmart, that's working at Walgreens, impacts them. So to do what you need to do just to help those people that are just kind of like,
you can every role change a mind here or there.
Maybe like just kind of that's it. Just go put an idea out there.
Okay.
And put an idea out there, and then hopefully people will arrive to things, and it starts conversations in a local level because I think you can only change things locally.
Like, can I call my dad? I need to call my dad. That was. There are moments in this. Again, it's one of the best films I've seen, and you don't know me, but I'm not that person.
I can tell you're not that person. You came in with a bandana.
I did.
You know,
why you gotta blow my spot? It's radio.
Yeah, come on, man.
They can't see my bandana,
the waves look
Daniel.
Good, though. The waves
Come
look
on,
good, though. The
Daniel,
waves look
Kaluuya,
good.
you better stop it. Listen, there's a lot of talk about British actors coming into America, taking jobs and all this around movies, and I'm like, they're actors. What does it take for you to do an Ohio accent or an American accent? Is there someone that you're channeling when you're talking?
No, I pull up whenever I'm in a film like that. I go to. So I went to the Costco's in Cleveland where he worked on a Sunday, and I just talked to the people.
Yeah, I heard you on Sway.
Yeah, No, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell
So what's an Ohio? Give me.
Oh no, I can't fling it on.
Huh?
Right
Come
now.
on, just
I can't
roll
fling
into
it.
an
I can't
America.
fling it
What,
on
do you
right
have a
now.
New York accent? What do you have like a Rolodex of accents?
Dead ass. That's what I can do.
That is not New
Dead
York.
ass.
Dead ass is not New York. That is not. All right. You know. So there's not. You don't practice in the mirror. You don't do.
I practice, but I practice at that time.
Okay.
So then, like, it's not general specific to the person.
Got
Do you know
you.
what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to capture like a whole community. I'm
You're
trying
doing
to
that
this
one
person,
guy. That's
that
slim.
one guy at that time.
Right.
Or I'm playing that person. So then, and that takes time. Do you know what I'm saying? It takes practice.
All right,
so,
the love scene. Your booty's out, and you got good moves. By the way,
Right.
are you acting? Is that are these real
100%
acts?
acting. We're
100%.
not in the porn industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It was very very convincing, Daniel. All right. I can't let you go without talking about Barney because I'm like, what the f? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you just why? What are we doing with Barney? Why is this? Is this
Producing
you?
it.
Is this a huh? Say
I'm
what?
not in it. I'm producing it.
You're
But
producing Barney.
Yeah. Basically, for me, it's
Why?
that kind of. Because it's someone that says, I love you, you love me. Won't you say you love me too? And people hate him.
Who hates Barney?
Loads of people hate Barney. Like when he came out, loads of people like, I hate him. He's annoying. He's this, he's that. Like even today, like there's someone like was like, yo, I don't like him. Why would you do that? Da-da-da-da-da. And it's like someone puts a message of love and people dislike him. That's interesting to me.
So in your production of Barney, what are we gonna see?
Oh, it's in the early stages, but it's not going to be the take that people think it is. It's not going to be like sanitized, kind of like.
So Barney's coming with a do rag.
If you can give me your do rag,
I will give you my do rag.
If you can dye it purple, we can make this
Barney
happen.
rock.
Come on, like
the do rag.
Listen. Barney needs waves too.
Listen. Everyone could use some waves.
This is what I'm trying to say.
All right, last question. Black Panther 2 sequel. You're in it. I'm imagining because you didn't die in the first one, or in what's that one where Thanos snapped a finger? You ain't dying that either. Thank you. You're gonna be in it. Yes.
I have no idea
How do you not know?
because it's being written.
Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Listen, when you come back, because I have like 1,000,000,001 questions. You're very fascinating. I want to talk to you about what you're reading in addition to this book that you just gave me because I love.
You should read that though.
No,
That's amazing.
I love to read. I'm just reading.
No, I
this,
read a lot.
This book about white people becoming white. This guy just died today who wrote a book about the Irish becoming white, and I'm just downloaded that.
I've read something about that, about the whole kind of like the generation above the Hispanic and the blacks and the people that came through, the Irish and the Italians
yes,
that came through.
They,
and
they
kind
came
of
into a made up construct in this whole, and
Yes.
this brilliant white man wrote a book about
What's
white.
it called?
They became white. I think that's the name of it.
wow.
They became white. Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to White Like Me recently.
Oh yeah. Okay, you are that guy. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
I'm sorry I came in all aggy, whatever that is.
Come on, man.
Look, I gotta
You
look
have
up stuff.
to you have to screen me. I get it. I get it. You have to.
Okay.
You don't know me.
I
don't know you.
and I love
You know
you,
what I'm saying?
and you love me.
Yeah.
See
Won't
what
you
I
say
did
you
there?
love me too? You know
See,
what I mean?
I
You know what I'm
just
saying?
did
You know how
that.
it is.
Danielle.
You rag all season.
Danielle Kaluuya, my man from across the pond, rocking you.
okay. His accent's
No
good.
Cockney, I don't know. I'm not
It's
going to
alright,
mess
it's
around.
alright.
I'm not an actress. All right, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, it's the Care or Not the Show. We'll be right back.